everyone, it's Jennifer from Flux. In this video, we're going to learn how to crochet this beautiful Azalea Patch Shawl. This is a really easy project. It just uses some basic stitches and it really shows off my variegated yarn here in a beautiful way. And this is a wonderful piece for really any season at all. We're going to be doing some granny stripes, working from the bottom point upward and increasing. So we're going to create a triangle shawl that will get wider and taller as we move along. We're going to work it as long, or as tall rather, and as wide as we want. And then we're going to finish it off with an optional pretty scalloped top that sort of mimics the same granny stitch. That's super easy to do as well. I'm going to walk you through every step of the way and make this beautiful shawl together. For this project, you'll need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle. A tape measure is super helpful to get the size that you'd like if you'd like to measure as you crochet. We're going to be using a 5.5 millimeter eye crochet hook. This is my black Odyssey hook by Furls. I'll put the link down below in a coupon code if you'd like to get one for yourself. We're going to be using some really pretty yarn. This is called Colorina from Hobie. As you can see, it's some variegated yarn. It has some lavender and orange and some hot pink and just really pretty colors throughout. And I'm going to be using 872 yards of this. I have 4 balls here, and each ball of this yarn is 218 yards. So 872 yards altogether of this yarn. If you need to substitute yarn, just look for a yarn. I'm going to get this label out so you can see. If you look on your yarn label, you can see a little tiny, it might be hard to see, but you can see a little tiny yarn ball with a number in it. We're going to be using a number 3 light. So if you use 872 yards of a number 3 light yarn, you'll be just fine. So let's get started. Okay, I have my yarn and my hook and we're ready to go. I just wanted to show you, look how pretty this purple is to begin. I just love it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a corner to corner granny, but instead of doing the increase and then the decrease to make a square, we're going to be doing the increase only to make a lovely triangle shawl. So what we're going to do first, and let me just get my yarn situated here, is we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop, bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up that loop, and tighten, okay? Then what we're going to do is chain 6. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work a slip stitch into the farthest chain from the hook. That first chain that we made, we're going to work a slip stitch to create a ring. Now we're going to be, this is kind of confusing because we're going to be working in rows, but we're going to begin with a ring, okay? It's not normally how we begin, but for this case we will. Normally when you begin with a ring, you work in the round, but we are going to be working rows. So go in that farthest chain from the hook and work a slip stitch. So insert the hook into that chain, bring up a loop, now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. We have a little ring that we're going to work those first few stitches into. I also would recommend holding this tail along the edges as you work so that you can just weave it in as you go along. Okay, so for row 1, what we're going to do is chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1, just as a side note. Then what we're going to do is work 3 double crochets into the center of the ring. So to make a double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into that ring, and bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap yarn around the hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around the hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Then we're going to work a second double crochet into the ring. Then a third double crochet into the center of the ring. Then what we're going to do is chain 1, then work another double crochet into the center of the ring. Okay, so the bottom part of our shawl is complete. We've started this nice little foundation that we'll be working up. We're going to work outward and upward as we complete more rows. Let's move on to row 2. For row 2, what we're going to do is chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once again, this counts as a double crochet, chain 1. Then we're going to turn our work, and this tail will help you until it gets a little bit bigger. This tail will help you remember where the bottom is. It's just like a little kind of circly, triangle-y thing right now, and once it grows, it'll make more sense, but this will help you mark your spot. So then what we're going to do is work in this first chain 1 space of the row. See how there's a space here, and then you have your group of 3 double crochets, and then another one. In that first space, what we're going to do is work 3 double crochet into that space. So 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just going to zoom in a teeny tiny bit so you can see a little bit better. Then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go into the last chain 1 space of the row. So we're going to skip over this little 3 double crochet cluster here, and over here, see we have another space at the end of the row. What we're going to do there is work 3 double crochet into that space. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and then 1 more double crochet into that same space, okay? So row 2 is complete. So you can kind of keep track of what row you're on, because this had, row 1 had 1 little cluster, and you can see now we have 2 clusters for row 2. Okay, row 3 is what we're going to do next, and it's also the row you're going to repeat for the entire rest of your shawl, okay? So let's get situated again, and for row 3, once again, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and once again, that counts as our double crochet, chain 1. Turn your work using that tail as a marker if it gets turned around a little bit. And then what we're going to do is in this first space, like we did in the previous row, we're going to work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 1, and then we're going to hop over to the next space. So skip over that little cluster of 3 double crochets and go to that next space here. And we're going to work 3 double crochet once again. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1 and then go down to that last space here, and we're going to do 3 double crochet in that space. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1 and then 1 more double crochet in that same space. Okay, so row 3 is complete. Now we are going to keep repeating, like I mentioned before. Now look, we have this lovely triangle already. We're going to keep repeating row 3 over and over and over again until your shawl is as large as you would like it to be. You can do something small and make it more of a shawlette, or you can go very large and make a nice wrap. And if you're using a variegated or self-striping yarn like me, we're going to kind of work through all these fun colors. So the colors will kind of do all the work for you if you're doing that. This would also look equally pretty in a solid color, or like it's something tonal as well. So keep going with row 3, and when we rejoin, I'll have some more rows on here, and we'll do some finish work. But I just wanted to mention, as you repeat row 3, you'll have more spaces that you'll be working into. So each time you build on your rows, you're going to be adding more of these groups of 3 double crochet clusters. So before we did 1, 2, 3, but the next row we'll do a cluster here, cluster here, cluster here, cluster here, and so forth. So as it grows in width and height, you'll be putting more of those clusters in each row, okay? So keep repeating row 3. You can back up the video. There's a slow motion feature. You can rewatch it as many times as you want until you get the hang of it. So we'll rejoin in just a minute, and we can see how this shawl kind of played out. Okay, just working that very last stitch of this main part of our shawl. And I just want to show you how beautiful it looks, how all these self-striping or variegated colors have kind of played out. Now we do have some ends, we're going to take care of this later, but it looks gorgeous. Now, at this point, you could do one of two things. You could stop and just kind of leave this top edge nice and straight here, like this. Or you could add a beautiful scallop just to kind of give it a nice finished look. When it's wrapped around you, it'll be a nice little point of interest. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but it's totally optional. So for our last row across where we do our scallop, what you're going to do for that is you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then turn your work. So let me just get my yarn all situated here. You're going to turn your work, and then in this first space right here, and actually let me zoom way in so you can see better. So in this first space here, you're going to work 3 double crochet. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet right in that first space. Now hop over to the next space in between those 2 groupings here and work a single crochet. Insert the hook into that space, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops. Okay, so we have the beginnings of a little scallop at the end, and we're going to start getting to work on the scallops across. In our next space, we're going to work 6 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, hop to the next space, work a single crochet once again. All right, so we're just going to be repeating this sequence all the way across. You can see how we have our first little full-size scallop of the row, and it just makes a nice, like, gentle rolling. Super simple. All right, let's do a few more together, and then we'll kind of like go off and do it on our own. Go to the next space, and once again work 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then once again, we're going to go to the next space and work a single crochet. Okay, so keep doing this all the way across, alternating into the spaces. Single crochet, then 6 double crochet in the next space. Then a single crochet, and then 6 double crochet in the next space, and just keep doing that across. So I'm going to continue with my little scallop. And when we rejoin, I'm going to show you how to do the end at the very end of the row. Okay, we've been working our scallop all the way across, doing the 6 double crochet, then a single crochet, then 6 double crochet, then a single crochet. So I'm at the end here, and I have just 1 space in between these last 2 groupings, and then we have our turning chain space. So when you get to the end here, we just did a single crochet. So in this last space in between these groupings here, we're going to do 6 double crochet just to keep in with our sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in that turning chain space here, we're going to just work a single crochet to finish it off, okay? Just work your single crochet in that turning chain space. All right, so the next thing we need to do is finish this off. So we're going to grab our tapestry needle and a pair of scissors, and let me just zoom out so you can see everything a little bit better. And I'm just going to cut the yarn, leaving a little tail so I can weave it in. And then we're just going to fasten off. So wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it through the loop, and tighten. Then we just need to weave in any ends. So we just have this end that we just did, plus some other ends throughout the piece. So any ends that you have, grab your tapestry needle and go ahead and thread it. And then you're just going to go into your piece. And this is reversible, our stitch. So just try to keep it through the middle of these loops if you can. I'm going to go in one direction and then come back in the other direction and just give it a little snip. All right, and then what you'll do when you're done that end is go through, and any ends that you have left, I have quite a few here because I use multiple balls of yarn, but any ends that you have, you're going to go ahead and take care of those too. So we've woven in all the ends and our shawl looks beautiful and it's ready to wear. So that is how you crochet the Azalea Patch Shawl. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again!